Hi folks. Well, these two have just had their Christmas dinner. They had half a load of mince, raw. Then they had 2.5 Yorkshire puddings each. And they had about 4 roast potatoes each. They had 3 pigs in blankets each. And then peas and gravy. And they're happy boys now. With full bellies. Their bowls were full. Yeah, full bowls. Nice and happy babies now. They're good. Okay. Yeah, they're happy boys. They're going to now have a little sleepy because with full bellies you need to sleep. So yeah. It's been a good day. I took them for quick walkies, not very long, just a quick walkies. And that was, yeah. They enjoyed that. They had a run around, stretch their legs. First time they've had a walk really for probably about 5 days. Car being out of commission and also, lower back. Yeah. Taking them for a walk was just not going to be something which was possible. Yeah, so, yeah. So there you go. But I think there's been some good videos done today, so yeah. I find it quite remarkable that somebody actually thought it was worth watching a video to give it a dislike on the day when they're supposed to be making it about Christ. You've just proved the point, really, haven't you? That you're not of God, because if you were, you'd be making a day about him rather than going onto a video to give someone a dislike because you do it. I promise you folks, it's the same person. It's one individual doing it. It's one individual doing it. And I feel sorry for the person. That's as simple as that. I do. Because what the person should be doing, if they disagree, they should be coming to me and saying, I disagree because of A, B, C and D. Because they could be right, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, they should be trying to help me to understand I'm wrong. Because that's love. That's what I say in the thing. Thank you for showing that you hate. Telling me why you disagree, that's love. Because it is. It's about trying to help someone. And when you hate, you don't care about helping, you just want to say they're wrong. That's what a dislike is. And so therefore, yeah. As I say, where that person is, I don't think that person is going to change their position. I really don't. I really don't. Because I believe that person is probably about 60 years old. About that. And is set in their ways. And so, yeah. As I said, one of the most difficult things for people is changing direction. If you've been in a certain direction for decades and decades and decades, being prepared to change direction, knowing that the path you're on is the wrong path. No, because again, it's not easy for anyone at all to admit they're on the wrong path. Very difficult. And the longer you've been on it, the more difficult it is. And so I do feel for these people, but the reality is they are where they are and they have to choose. They have to choose. The same Bible that I have, they have. They've been able to read it. They've been able to see that what they see in church is not what they read in the Bible. They've been able to see that. But if they've settled for the way it is rather than challenge, well, that's up to them. Yeah. I said in previous videos, it's not really you that made the change. Well, but there is something in you. And there's something in them that means they won't. And the problem is that what's in them means that they probably never will. If they never have, it probably means they never will. That is a reality. Because, as I say, in the days of the Pentecostal church beginning, you had people like Smith Wigglesworth doing wonders, doing incredible things. And you had people in the Baptist church and CB church that knew all this, and yet remained in what they were in. They didn't change, they didn't come over to this new thing that God was doing. No, there would have been a lot of people speaking out against it, saying that it's demonic. And the only reason they were saying it's demonic is because it's easier to say that than it is to change direction. If you've been part of the Baptist movement for years and years and years and years and years, then suddenly saying we're wrong. Yeah, as leaders, we've been leading you in the wrong direction. That's a very, very... You've got to have balls to do that. Massive. That takes courage that most people don't have to do that. To admit that you failed miserably in those days. Because that's the reality. Now again, let's be true. They weren't in a position where they could have done better. That's true. So therefore, they didn't really fail. They just didn't know. And that's the reality. They didn't know better. They didn't fail. But in their own understanding, they failed. That's why I said, to be able to admit that you failed miserably, because in their own understanding, they're going to believe they failed miserably. It will take time before God helps them to see that, no, you didn't. You couldn't have done better. But they were there where they were, and it was just too big a thing for them to get over. As I say, you do have a lot of people who are hoping for revival, not because they truly believe that God's going to bring revival, but because revival is the only way they're going to get into heaven. Because they know absolutely and totally that they're on the wrong path, but they can't admit it. Because admitting it means that point, in their own understanding, that they're a failure. And not just a little bit of a failure, but a huge failure. As I said, they're not. That's not who they are. That's not what they really are. But that's what the devil's going to be telling them, isn't it? Yeah. And so, yeah. This is why people continue on a path that they know pretty much. That they're pretty much 100% certain that path is wrong. They will continue on it. Because it's easier to do that than it is to change. So there you go. I wish all these people well, but that's why I say I came to that understanding of knowing that, and as soon as I came to understand of knowing it, I realised that most of those people, it's not my job to change their mind, because I can't. It's not something I can do. I cannot change their minds. I know that. You can't. That's the situation, is that you know. Yeah. Well, I say to me, I've had the life I've had, and that's meant that I think in the ways that I do. So other people have had the lives they've had, and that's meant that they think in the way they do. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, as I say, I feel for these people. I really do. I don't want anyone to continue down a bad path, but the reality is, there is really nothing at all that I can do about it. It is up to God. And I don't think there's an awful lot that he can do about it either with most of these people. So most of the people that are like this are people who, they came forward in a meeting, the seed fell on the wrong type of ground that wouldn't bear fruit, but they kept on coming to church and they kept on believing that they were saved even though they're not. And the problem is that's because of the fact that we have a church that doesn't want to teach people, that doesn't want to speak truth. They want to please people because then people don't get offended, and when people don't get offended, church is happier. People are happier. The leaders are happier. The problem is that path is still wrong and leading in the wrong direction. So hopefully that can be changed. So you take care. God bless.